I'm Chet Huntley, NBC News. Trouble broke out this evening in the historic main square of Prague, Czechoslovakia. Thursday night is the anniversary of the Soviet invasion. As offices and shops were closing in Prague, a few attempted to place flowers at the base of the statue of St. Wenceslas, but they were pushed back by the police. The small crowd grew into thousands, the police were reinforced, army units appeared in the side streets. NBC News reporter Cy Perlman witnessed the encounter between angry Czechoslovaks and the police and telephoned this report.
Hundreds of Czechoslovak police used rubber truncheons and tear gas tonight to break up a crowd of 5,000 people gathered in Prague's main square. Time and time again, police wearing white helmets charged into the crowd and hit them with nightsticks. A dozen armored personnel carriers drove up and down Wenceslas Square while thousands whistled and chanted Gestapo, Gestapo at them. In a nearby side street, a dozen trucks filled with Czechoslovak soldiers were kept in readiness. Police went into action after several people tried to put flowers on the statue of St. Wenceslas as a sign of protest against the Soviet occupation of the country. Cy Perlman, NBC News, Prague.
More violence and disturbances in Czechoslovakia are highly predictable as the Thursday anniversary of the Soviet invasion approaches. There are unconfirmed reports that Soviet and Polish armed forces are maneuvering in various parts of the country. It is known that Soviet and Czechoslovak military units are on the alert. The new Czechoslovak Communist Party leader, Gustav Husak, in a speech to industrial and labor leaders, said today that the former party leadership under Alexander Dubček ignored repeated Soviet warnings to head off the liberalization campaign in early 1968.
The Huntley-Brinkley Report is produced by NBC News and brought to you in color by your Phillips 66 dealers from coast to coast. At Phillips 66, it's performance that counts.
Do you know how to charge a battery? A set of spark plugs? With the Supercharger, a Phillips 66 credit card. Good at every Phillips 66 station in all 50 states. Every Best Western and Quality Corp's motel. And every Hertz rent-a-car office. The Supercharger. Ask any Phillips 66 dealer for an application. And charge something.
The Special Forces, the Green Berets, have been involved in at least one other spy case, one similar to that in which 8 officers and men are being held for the murder of a man who may have been a double agent in Vietnam. The newest case came to light and involves a captain. He was convicted at a court-martial almost 2 years ago of killing a Vietnamese thought to be spying for both the United States and North Vietnam. The captain is now serving a long prison term.
Captain John J. McCarthy, Jr. of the Green Berets is a prisoner at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. He was convicted of killing a South Vietnamese in November of 1967. The court-martial was conducted in Vietnam in total secrecy. The 26-year-old McCarthy was originally sentenced to life imprisonment. The sentence has since been reduced to 24 years, and the whole case is being appealed. The man Captain McCarthy is convicted of killing is identified only as In Chin Hia Long. Friends of Captain McCarthy, who are familiar with the case, say the Vietnamese may have been a double agent and that Captain McCarthy, in all likelihood, was ordered to kill him. In any event, they claim the treatment given the Green Beret captain is grossly unjust. They say the case is very similar to the current one involving the 8 Green Berets in Vietnam. The Army will only acknowledge that Captain McCarthy is in prison. It refuses to give any detailed information on the alleged crime or the victim. National security is one of the reasons given for the silence. Captain McCarthy now has both civilian and military counsel, but the defense attorneys refuse to discuss the case. They have been given top-secret security clearance and their pledge to secrecy. Captain McCarthy's case is now going through the lengthy process of military appeal. It has reached the Court of Military Review, but there's no indication how long it will take before a decision is reached. Robert Goralski, NBC News at the Pentagon.
Prison officials refused today to admit that Captain McCarthy is in Leavenworth, but the Army confirmed that he is there. The Pentagon said today that the 8 men being held in Vietnam were arrested by field commanders, and the Defense Department was not told about it. Yesterday, the 8 were released from the small, hot cells in which they had been held and were placed in regular living quarters.
The 8 Special Forces men were spirited out of the stockade at Long Bin Army headquarters by car without prior warning. An hour and 15 minutes later, in response to inquiries, the Army said only that the isolation of the men, which was necessary at one phase of the investigation, was no longer necessary. It said the men were now being confined to this bachelor officers' quarters, 7 of them, and the 8th, an enlisted man, to a barracks nearby. Within a half hour of the move, Colonel Robert Rowe, ousted commander of Green Berets in Vietnam, relaxed, took off his shirt, and received some mail from home. The new quarters are some of the best at Long Bin, air-conditioned with refrigerators and television. The men are still confined, but are able to use the yard around the house and the officers' mess next door. Here they are led to their first meal outside the stockade in 29 days. The men are accompanied by 2 live-in guards, and periodically others watch from jeeps nearby. Robert Hager, NBC News at Long Bin Army Headquarters.
This is Duck Lop, a typical outpost of the United States Special Forces, better known as the Green Berets. It is at these posts the Green Berets do their jobs. They advise and train native troops, they help fight, they teach school, they nurse, they help build villages. They also spy on the enemy and carry out counterinsurgency missions. This post, Duck Lop, is only a few miles from the Cambodian border and communist troops. It was near here a double agent was seen meeting with the North Vietnamese. Later, the agent was assassinated, allegedly by Green Berets, on orders from the Central Intelligence Agency. At the headquarters of the Green Berets at Nha Trang, no one will admit that. In fact, no one will admit to knowing anything about double agents, the CIA, or their former Green Beret commander, Colonel Robert Rowe. Colonel Rowe's replacement, Colonel Alexander Lembris, is a tough, closed-mouthed professional soldier.
What has been the effect of the Rowe case on the morale of your people, your officers here, your men here, your men out in the field?
It's had an effect on the morale, as any adverse information would have on a unit where the commander is allegedly charged with a crime such as this, where the facts are not known.
Has it had any effect whatsoever on the operations of the Special Forces?
None whatsoever. I feel that we are over here to advise and assist the Vietnamese, and we are going to continue to advise and assist the Vietnamese.
It will have no effect then on your future operations?
It will not. This idea that the Special Forces trooper is a cloak and dagger person and a hoodlum is not exactly right. But in reality, we are nothing more than highly trained soldiers.
Prime concern of Colonel Lembris now is the image of the Green Berets back home. His job will be that of breaking the idea that his men are kidnappers and cloak and dagger killers.
If killing is ever necessary, it must be during wartime. The main question in this case then is, who blew the whistle on the Green Berets, the Special Forces, when they were only doing their job and following orders? The answer to that we will probably never know. The next logical question is, how will all this affect the hard work of the Green Berets, who have obviously volunteered for what they're doing with the feeling that what they're doing is right? How do they operate in the future? Or do they have a future? Floyd Calver, NBC News, reporting from Special Forces Headquarters at Nha Trang.
Decisions. Do I want good, rich flavor or one that's lower in tar than the best-selling Filter King?
Wait. Now one cigarette gives you both. Pall Mall Gold. Newest U.S. government figures show Pall Mall Gold 100s lower in tar than the best-selling Filter King. Yes, it's longer than king size, yet lower in tar than the best-selling Filter King. Longer, yet milder, smoother tasting. Pall Mall Gold. Pall Mall Menthol, too. If
you're a menthol smoker, here's something worth taking a long look at. Pell-Mell Menthol 100s. U.S. government figures show Pell-Mell Menthol lower in tar than the best-selling Menthol King. Longer than king size, yet milder, cooler tasting. Pell-Mell Menthol. Longer,
yet milder.
Hurricane Camille weakened today, passed out of Mississippi and became a rain squall over Tennessee and Kentucky. But after it had killed at least 160 people and left 200,000 homeless. Today, Louisiana was declared a federal disaster area, and Mississippi was put under limited martial law. It has already been placed on the disaster area list. Tomorrow, Vice President Agnew and other officials will inspect the damage. Among the hardest hit places were Gulfport in Mississippi and Burris in Louisiana.
Many more bodies were found in the wreckage of Hurricane Camille today, 23 in one apartment building in Pass Christian, Mississippi alone. More bodies are thought to be buried in the debris. Only now, as the water recedes, some roads are reopened and rudimentary communications are reestablished, is the full extent of the hurricane's destruction becoming known. Mississippi Governor John Bell Williams declared martial law along the Gulf Coast to help the cleanup and recovery process. But the destruction was so great and the shock so deep that recovery has barely begun. In towns like Burris, Louisiana, which were abandoned and almost totally wrecked, it will be a long time before life returns to normal. The bare necessities of life are in short supply or non-existent. Some help has come from the outside. This Salvation Army emergency feeding truck came from Shreveport, Louisiana.
I guess so. There's all no charge. No charges free.
Water pumps in many cities are not running because there's no electricity. So 2 big tank trucks of water were sent from Hattiesburg, Mississippi. There are long lines of motorists at the few gas stations open for business. With no power, their pumps must be hooked up to noisy generators. Only a few telephones are working. Home refrigerators have no power, and there's a big demand for ice. This company is selling only ice made before the storm, and when that's gone, there's no electricity to make more. Dazed homeowners returned to where their houses once stood. They picked through the wreckage for what they could salvage, but it wasn't much. They gathered up even that little bit to continue life somehow, somewhere. One woman wandered through the remains of a home with her son, muttering to herself as she found a familiar scrap here and there.
There's Mary going down the sliding board. Oh, have you ever?
Now?
I don't know. Oh, my mother-in-law's house demolished. And my mother and dad's gone, so I don't have any place. It's pretty bad. Real bad. You just don't know which way to turn or how to go, and I don't know.
But where does a person live, and how do they get their clothes together and so forth? What happens?
They just have to pick them up. If they find anything, they pick it up, and later they'll try to wash it out and try to salvage what little bit they can. That's all they can do.
Have you found anything here you can use?
Something I found a wife found a boy's flag while ago. It was killed in Vietnam.
Hurricane Debbie is about 600 miles northwest of San Juan, Puerto Rico. The storm is slowly moving to the northwest and at the moment poses no definite threat to any land areas. For 2 straight days, scientists have been trying to tame the storm by seeding it with chemicals. Navy jets loaded with canisters of silver iodide today took off from Roosevelt Naval Air Station in Puerto Rico at 2-hour intervals. They flew through 100-mile-an-hour winds into the center of the hurricane. At 33,000 feet, they spread the silver iodide particles into the storm. The chemical is supposed to form ice particles and take away some of the heat, which helps hold the storm together. If this happens, the hurricane should spread out and lose some of its force. Today's seeding was called an operational success, but has had no discernible effect on the storm. The seeding operation is expected to continue tomorrow.
Company, halt!
Fungus ready, sir.
Yeah, itch is ready, sir. I want those athletes' foot flags between the enemy toes by nightfall. Now move out!
This your first battle, kid?
Yeah, nothing to it. We got him scratching like crazy.
Oh, no. He's got Absorbing Junior. Run for your life, kid.
Man, what is that stuff? Some new secret weapon?
We've had it. Just no way to fight Absorbing Junior. It stops itch fast, kills fungus on contact.
General, the enemy has Absorbing Junior. Repeat, Absorbing Junior. We're taking a terrible beating, sir.
Horrible. Wiped out. Almost every last fungus and itch. The enemy used Absorbing Junior. Athlete's foot didn't have a chance.
Chemical warfare! How low can you get?
Absorbing Junior. Liquid or powder. Relieves itching. Kills athlete's foot fungus on contact.
The Huntley-Brinkley report continues, brought to you by Polident Powder. People believe in Polident for cleaner-looking dentures and fresher-tasting teeth. Polident Powder.
Thank you. I wear dentures, and I love lots of tea. But I don't have to worry about tea-stained dentures. I use Polident. No matter what I've tried, nothing pleases me more than Polident.
People keep coming back to Polident because no tablet, powder, or paste gives them the cleaning satisfaction of Polident. No wonder dentists surveyed recommend Polident over all other leading brands combined. No wonder denture wearers keep coming back to Polident.
Northern Ireland's Prime Minister Chichester Clark and Prime Minister Wilson met today in London. They decided that the British Army commander will take on the responsibility for all security in the 6 northern counties, and that includes control of the special constabulary so hated by the Roman Catholics. Belfast was quiet today, but the mutual hatred of Catholics and Protestants still pervaded the city, and both sides continued to bury their dead.
After another quiet night, thanks to the continued presence of British troops, Belfast is almost back to normal today. And everybody in Belfast is hard at work today cleaning up the debris. This factory employed both Catholics and Protestants. Each side claims the other burned it down. Whoever did it, everybody is out of work now as the result. There are many neighborhoods in Belfast where Catholics and Protestants live in peace, side by side, but this is not one of them. It is in places like this where the trouble always starts, in working-class slums where Catholics and Protestants live totally segregated lives within blocks of each other. Work is scarce, and both sides compete for the same jobs. Each side is suspicious and mistrustful of the other, and when trouble does come, as it did last week, each side blames the other for it. These people are Protestants, but if they were Catholics instead, they would sound about the same.
Well, you see, there's an element... Stop, what is it? There's an element behind all this. They want a united Ireland, and we don't.
That's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about.
Catholics coming up and down here were able to come at a normal time, up and down during shopping. Nobody said a word, nobody harmed them. But when it comes to trouble times, this bottom bend of the street was a very handy place for snipers.
The only thing that will stop it here is a united Ireland under the Union Jack.
They're living in slums, they've got no jobs. They're not getting... Will you let me finish? They're downtrodden. Well, now, if you like... I'll take you into slum areas in the Protestant districts.
I'll take them down Conway Street now, Mrs., where I live. I'll take them round.
So there are two religious groups at war with each other in this country, but their fight has little to do with religion.
If that's all there were to it, the problem would be much less difficult to solve. Douglas Kiker, NBC News, Belfast.
In a single day, the Catholics buried 4 of theirs. There was Hugh McCabe, 21, father of 2 children. He was killed by machine gun fire from a police car. He was a soldier in the British Army, and he could have had a Union Jack on his casket, but his family didn't want it. There was Sam McLaren, 30, bus driver, killed by automatic fire from an armored car. He was sitting with his family when he died. The Catholics put the flag of Ireland on his casket and buried him with a quasi-military ceremony.
And Anna Manahar, Ferguson Vic, Ferguson Spirit, David and Men.
Then there was Patrick Rooney, 9 years old. His family thought he was safe in the back of the apartment. There, a bullet smashed through the wall and killed Patrick.
The Lord be with you. And also with you. Let us pray.
There were many present for the young boy's funeral. The parents told the children not to forget this day. As they were burying Patrick Rooney just a few yards away, the body of 15-year-old Gerald McCauley was put into the ground. A sniper's bullet killed him. And it is days like this one that perpetuate the centuries of hate between the Catholics and the Protestants of North Ireland. Dean Bayless, NBC News, Belfast.
The United Nations Security Council will meet tomorrow morning to talk about the Irish Republic's request that a peacekeeping force be sent to Northern Ireland. A survey indicated it may be difficult even to get the 9 votes needed to place the question on the agenda. In Vietnam, there is heavy fighting near Tam Key, and hundreds of reinforcements were rushed in to support American infantrymen who have taken heavy casualties in the past 24 hours, at least 25 dead. The enemy has lost more than 150. Thai Prime Minister Thanat Khoman said today that his government told President Nixon that it will never ask for American combat troops to fight a rebellion.
Power drills, all Black & Decker drills for all drilling jobs. Heavy-duty drills for the big drilling jobs, hour after hour, day after day. Gun drills, the ultimate in pistol grip drills for automotive repair or any professional use. Cordless drills for power where there is no power. Black & Decker drills for every use, in industry and the home. This new reversing variable speed drill has trigger control so precise you can drive a screw or just flip the switch to take them out. What Black & Decker has learned about making drills for over half a century can be yours for as low as $10.99. Men who work with power drills know, for value, performance, and service, you can expect the best from Black & Decker.
Israeli and Egyptian forces fought another battle today across the Suez Canal. An Israeli plane was shot down and the pilot was captured. Communist China demanded today that Russia stop violating its borders. China said there had been more than 400 incidents between June 1st and July 31st. Teamsters Union President Hoffa appeared in federal court in Chattanooga, Tennessee today. He is seeking a new trial for jury tampering, for which he is now serving 8 years in prison. Prices rose again today on the New York Stock Exchange. The Dow Jones Industrials gained more than 6 points. An average share of common stock went up 24 cents. Roman Polanski, the film director and husband of Sharon Tate, called newsmen to a hotel in Hollywood today, and there he made a long, emotional statement, told a good deal of what had been on his mind since his pregnant wife and 4 others were killed at their home on August 8th. He answered no questions, only gave his statement, but it was a highly emotional one.
Both Wojtek Frykowski and J.C. Bring smoked pot sometimes. I saw them doing it. in my house were parties where people did smoke pot. And I must tell you, furthermore, that I was not at a Hollywood party where somebody didn't smoke a pot. Sharon not only didn't use drugs, she didn't touch alcohol, she didn't smoke cigarettes. The last film she made was not a very happy experience for her, but her greatest picture she was doing was her pregnancy. I never seen a woman more preoccupied with it. The house is open now. The police has released it. And you can go and see the orgy place. You will see a lot of blood all over the place. Cradles, baby clothes, and that's all. I'm sorry for being so long, but I had to tell you whatever was on my mind. And I tell you last thing, that people who show me the most heart, understanding, and who changed a lot of my opinions about certain circles were what we call fuzz. The cops were really very, very good. Thank you, gentlemen.
Good night for NBC News.